We acknowledge that the land on which we gather today are the lands traditionally cared for by the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, Attawandaron, and Chinootan people. The region maintains committed to working together with First Nation, Métis, and Inuit communities on our path to truth and reconciliation. So as I mentioned, this is the Ainslie Street Reconstruction, and this is the virtual public meeting held November 9th, 2023. Today is our first public meeting where we want to present different approaches to the Ainslie Street reconstruction. Based on the feedback we receive, we will assess that information and update our design. We plan on having another virtual meeting in early 2024 to discuss those findings, after which time the project team intends to present a preliminary or 30% design to the Planning and Works Committee in early to mid 2024. So that's the current project schedule. The scope of the project is Ainslie Street from Water Street South to Water Street North. If you look at the key plan here, you'll notice that there's two different hatchings on the different parts of the roadway. The hatching with the lines indicates resurfacing, and the dark hatching with the dark gray indicates reconstruction. The difference between reconstruction and resurfacing is that resurfacing just means removing the asphalt that's there and replacing it and replacing the pavement markings as well. Reconstruction includes removing and replacing the entire road structure and the sidewalk. And this means that in some locations near Main Street and Dixon Street, the work will actually be building face to building face. Also included in that reconstruction work will be the removal and replacement of sewer and water supply pipes. So firstly, I want to note that we love Ainslie Street and downtown Cambridge, and we want it to thrive and to grow. The region of Waterloo is committed to improving the way that people move around the region. And there's been shifting attitudes from moving vehicles through the corridor to moving people. The current land use of Ainslie Street is a mixed commercial, residential, and also has a downtown urban section through Main Street and Dixon Street. It's currently one lane each direction with some left turn lanes, and is often congested. Narrow sidewalks with crowded light poles and utilities are also along the corridor. And the asphalt and concrete in the area are showing signs of failure. The underground infrastructure is in need of replacement, and that includes the water main, sanitary, and storm sewers. So we know what our task is. Our task is to reconstruct Ainslie Street, but we have an opportunity here to reimagine what the Ainslie Street corridor could look like. This project wants to work with the City of Cambridge, the Downtown Cambridge BIA, and you, the public, to scope this project. One of the region's strategic priorities is climate-aligned growth. In approaching this project, the project team is looking for ways to foster car alternative options, which could include adding cycle lanes and pedestrian facilities, and enhanced pedestrian facilities, I should say. In this urban core, we want people walking around. We want them popping their heads into shops and really getting a taste of the culture of downtown Cambridge. So in order for that to happen, we need to make the corridor hospitable to pedestrians. One example of how we plan to create that corridor and that connectivity is to construct a regional cycling connection from the existing facilities on Concession Street, shown here by the thick blue line, to the GRT Ainslie Transit Terminal, which is located just on the south side of Ainslie by this blue bus here. So what does that look like? Ooh. So currently there are no cycling facilities on Ainslie Street from Concession Street to the GRT Transit Terminal. This section of the corridor is relatively open and can easily accommodate cycling infrastructure. Other sections of the road are tighter with less property. So what cycling infrastructure are we talking about? Specifically, we're talking about cycle tracks. So by definition, a cycle track is a physically separated bikeway that is horizontally and vertically separated from the travel portion of the roadway by a curb or buffer. So essentially, it's a roadway that travels adjacent to the sidewalk and allows for a buffer area between the automobiles on the road. This also is at the same elevation of the sidewalk. Cycle tracks are designed exclusively for use by the people riding bikes and often travel parallel to the sidewalk. So by providing cycle tracks from concession to the Ainslie Transit Terminal, we essentially want to create that connectivity. And what this does is it provides a cycling network connection to the existing infrastructure. It provides a cycling connection to the Ainslie Transit Terminal, which is important because that means that someone can ride their bike to the GRT terminal and either hop on a bus or other form of transit in the future at that location. This also fits within the existing right-of-way. But now, what do we do beyond the Ainslie Transit Terminal from the Ainslie Transit Terminal to Water Street North? We have two design alternatives. So option one is a continuation of the cycle tracks from the Ainslie Terminal to Simcoe Street. So this provides a cycling network connection through the entire corridor. This option requires the removal of the existing left turn lanes and some lane restrictions for automobiles from Main Street to Dixon Street. This option meets the region objectives to improve the way people travel, and it also has a traffic calming effect with narrower lanes. I will now share with you what this would look like in plan. Cornell, can you give me a nod if you see it? Okay, good. So what this looks like in plan view is essentially our limit here of Concession Street is where the bike infrastructure would begin. And you would come into the Ainslie corridor and you have basically these two 1.5 meter cycle tracks adjacent to the road. But again, they're at the same elevation as the sidewalk. So we'd have those all the way down the corridor. And I'll scroll through this relatively quickly. For your information, on the Engage WR website, these plans have been uploaded. I uploaded them this afternoon. So if you have the time and you're interested, please have a look at them. They're in PDF and they can be viewed just the same way I'm doing it now. So essentially, like I mentioned, this option maintains that cycle track throughout the entire corridor. So at this point, we're getting to the GRT terminal, which is right here on the south side. And then we continue those cycle tracks all the way through the constrained urban section, Dixon, and beyond to essentially Simcoe Street. For this limit here. We know, again, there's going to be resurfacing beyond this limit. We're talking about just the limit for the bike lanes. Our second option is to reinstate on-street parking where possible on the west side of Ainslie Street from Warnock Street to Colborne Street. The project team has conducted a parking survey which demonstrated that the parking on Ainslie Street is well used, and as a result, the region has prepared this option There may be some reduction in the number of street parking spots after the reconstruction, but that's to be determined. And with this option, we would still provide, I want to note, it's important that we still would provide that connectivity from concession to the GRT. So we would still have the cycling infrastructure from Concession Street to the GRT, but north of the GRT, it would basically have on-street parking. So I will now take the time and show you that plan. So again, starting at the Concession Street, we are showing the cycle tracks, same as the other design, to this point here, just near the GRT, at which point it would transition back to on-street parking on the west side. And that continues. Like I mentioned, we will have some spots lost, but essentially this maintains the parking. So that goes all the way to Colborne Street. And again, you can look at those plans on the Engage WR website at your leisure, and they're available there for you. And then, yeah, the parking stops back here. We'll now go back to the slideshow. So with the Ainslie Street reconstruction, we do have some opportunities. We want to improve the use of the space in the downtown Cambridge corridor. We want to renew the underground infrastructure, and we want to expand the all ages and abilities cycling facilities. In relating to the actual reconstruction work, there will be construction impacts. There will be traffic in the area. There will be construction detours. Utility works are planned to happen in advance of the road reconstruction, and there'll be minor property impacts, but nothing major. I now ask you to please go to the Engage WR website. Now that you've registered, you can also complete the survey, so that at the bottom of the page, beside Ask Us a Question, there is a survey button. And for those of you who did ask me a question, I did check the Engage WR website today and saw that there were some questions waiting for me there. I apologize for the tardiness in response. I did not get a notification, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of that why, but I will get a notification when you complete the survey. So I will answer your question in time, but also please take the time to complete the survey and have a look at the two plans, which are on the right side of the page in one of the columns on the right side of the page, the links to the PDFs. This survey will be open until November 30th. So it'll be 3 weeks. The survey will be open. It's been posted today. It's up right now. If you'd like, feel more than free to complete the survey at the end of this meeting or currently during the meeting. Next steps include virtual public meeting number 2, which will happen in early 2024, as I mentioned, and then getting to Regional Council and Planning Works Committee in 2024, and then progressing with the detailed design through 24-25, have the utility works completed in 25, with a road reconstruction start in spring of 2026. That's the current schedule. Again, Engage WR/Ainslie-Street-Improvements is the Engage website. My name is David DiPietro. I'm the Senior Engineer at Design and Construction. This is my contact information. Please feel free to send me an email and or give me a call. I am typically responsible to get back to you within 3 or 4 days, if not sooner. That's the latest. So again, I'll just mention that the alternative plans have been uploaded to the Engage site. The survey is live, and the recording of this presentation will be uploaded tomorrow. And now I'll go to the Q&As, but I will stop recording.